In this video, we're going to talk about e-commerce and which plugin we should choose for WordPress to help us set up our e-commerce store. Now, generally with LattePress, we like to give you a couple options to choose from, whether they vary in budget or features, so that you can pick the plugin that's going to help you in your specific situation. Thankfully, when it comes to e-commerce, at least for the moment, there really is just one plugin to choose from, and that's going to help you regardless of the kind of e-store that you want to set up and regardless of the products that you want to sell. And that plugin is WooCommerce by a company called WooThemes. Now, the core plugin of WooCommerce is completely free, and it's going to offer the functionality for the majority of people to set up their entire e-store without having to purchase any extensions. And so what I'd like to do is go through very quickly the features that WooCommerce has so you can see if it's going to fit your requirements. But like I say, for most people, there's very few situations where I think WooCommerce out of the box wouldn't have all of the functionality that you need. And for those people that need a little bit of extra functionality, it comes with several both free and commercial extensions that extend the functionality, and that's going to cover everybody else. At the moment, we feel, after a lot of review, I've looked at a lot of different plugins, and I've also used a lot of different plugins in our development over the years. But right now, at the moment, we really feel that WooCommerce is going to be the best choice for everybody. And also the core plugin is free, so there's no real budget question when we're talking about which plugin we should choose. Now, WooCommerce out of the box has a tremendous amount of functionality, which I'm about to cover in a second. And as I mentioned, there's a tremendous amount of extensions, and they're both free and paid. And they cover everything from payment gateways to shipping to how the store works to how products are displayed. So out of the box, it has pretty much everything for the majority of stores. And for those few situations where you may need something different, they have paid extensions, and we'll take a look at those as well. But the first thing I want to do, I just want to walk you quickly through the installation and then talk about a couple of the features that make WooCommerce so great. And then we'll cover them in detail during the tutorial. So you don't really need to pay attention to the specific, how everything is working. I just want to go over the features, and then I'll walk you through how to set them up and configure them in the WooCommerce series of tutorials. So really quickly, I'm going to install WooCommerce, and because it's a free plugin, we can download it directly through the WordPress repository. So we can install it just like any other plugin. So you'll see I'll type in WooCommerce into our plugin search, and it's going to come up first. Look for that Buy Automatic, because that's the plugin developers, just to make sure that you're on the right one, and then click on Install Now. And after I activate this should bring me to a setup wizard. If it's the first time that you're installing WooCommerce, you're going to see that you get a setup wizard. It's going to ask you a couple questions about where you're based and some other information, and that's just going to help you kind of quickly get configured. So I'm going to skip this setup for right now, but I'll walk you through that during the tutorial phase, right? So what I want to show you is if I go into WooCommerce, the first thing that we're going to see is the general settings screen. And that's just going to ask you some information about your store, because what WooCommerce allows you to do is sell to specific areas, or to prevent selling to specific areas, or shipping to only specific areas that you'd like. So it gives you a lot of control over who is allowed to purchase or get shipped to from your store, and which areas you don't want to focus on. So if you're a local business or if you're international, the WooCommerce settings kind of have you covered. So you can put in your selling locations, your shipping locations, and you can also enable taxes and other items from your general settings screen. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this right now because we'll cover it all in the tutorial, but I do want to enable taxes really quickly. So I'm just going to click on the tax settings for now so I can tell you a little bit about how taxes in WooCommerce work. Basically, what they allow you to do is set up zones. So based on your local tax laws, and I do recommend that you talk to an accountant or a lawyer, somebody familiar with your local tax laws before you set these up, just so you can make sure that you're doing everything correctly. Because the tax laws and who you have to charge tax to and the different tax rates you have to charge are all going to depend on your local laws. But what WooCommerce does, because it's kind of different everywhere, they let you set up zones that you can also apply specific tax rates to those zones, so that if somebody in your local area, you do need to collect tax from them, it'll charge them tax. And if somebody from outside your local area is purchasing a product, then the tax won't be added to their total. So it's going to allow you to set up zones so you're only charging the tax rates to the people where you should be collecting tax. And also, if there's different rates for different zones, it's going to allow you to set that up as well. So there's a whole tax system within WooCommerce, and there's a couple ways that you can go about setting it up, which I'll cover in our tutorial. But basically, it's really going to help you out when it comes to only charging tax to the people that you should be collecting tax on your products from. It's also going to have detailed tax reports in the reporting system, so it's going to be very easy at the end of the year or at the end of the month, whenever it is that you pay your tax bill, you're going to know exactly how much tax you collected and where you collected it from. So now that we've covered tax, I want to talk quickly about shipping. So this is if you are shipping physical goods from your store, then WooCommerce has a full shipping system set up. And similar to our zones, this is going to, or similar to our taxes, sorry, this is going to allow us to set up zones depending on where the customer is. And so what we can do is, based on where the customer's shipping address is, we can set a different shipping rate, and we do that using these WooCommerce shipping zones. In addition to that, it's going to let us set up different shipping classes. So if you have a product that is specific, particularly bulky or isn't going to fit in a standard box, and so you know that there's going to be an extra cost to that, you can create what's called a shipping class. And then while you're creating products, you can apply that class to that product. So then that's going to be added on in addition to the shipping rate, where you're going to be shipping it. It can also add on that additional shipping class if the user has purchased a product that is, particularly bulky or whatever the situation may be. So there's a full shipping system within WooCommerce, and there's also a full tax system in WooCommerce. Now, if you don't need either of those things, you can also disable them. So if you're selling, for example, digital products only, and you don't need to charge tax on those products, you can completely disable the tax system and the shipping system. And WooCommerce also has a full inventory system. So if you're selling physical goods or anything that's going to have a stock or is going to have a limited amount, WooCommerce can also handle that. So it's going to tell us exactly what our inventory is, or how many items have been purchased, or even, for example, if you were going to do a limited edition, say, MP3 file or something like that. So even if it's not a physical good, you can track inventory on it, and when you've sold, say, 100 of the items, it can then say it's out of stock or it's unavailable. And how that's handled when it runs out of stock or when it's close to running out of stock, you can also configure that. So if you want to be notified when you have a certain amount left, or if you want it to completely hide the product from the front end when it's out of stock, or if you want to display a message that just says the product is out of stock and allow people to pre-order it with the understanding that when it's fulfilled or when it's refilled, then those orders will be fulfilled. So it really gives you a lot of flexibility on how you want to set that up. And again, you can disable the inventory system if that's not something that you're going to need. But having that functionality there really allows WooCommerce to handle a lot of different e-stores depending on what their situations are. And then we'll take a look at checkout. WooCommerce handles all of the standard, checkout processes. So whether it be PayPal or Stripe or other credit card processes, we can set up all kinds of payment methods, including offline payment methods such as checks and bank transfers and cash on delivery. So if you were doing something like a restaurant where they were going to have delivery, you can offer online payment, and you can also offer something like cash on delivery where they would pay when the delivery guy brings the food, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we can set that up. And when we're talking about shipping and checkout, now for shipping, for example, these are, when we're setting up shipping zones, these are predetermined flat rates. So we're not integrating directly with, say, USPS or FedEx in order to get the exact rates. So if that's something that you need, there are extensions available for all of the major shipping suppliers. And I'll just show you this. We'll pull up WooThemes and we'll check out the extension store. So we'll just go to shipping and we'll go to carriers, right? So if you need to get the specific rates from your supplier, or if you have certain discounts that you've negotiated with them, and so you need to get the specific rates for your shipping account, you can purchase and install the extension for your carrier, and then it's going to get the exact shipping rates based on the delivery address of the user. But for most people, you're going to be able to get those kind of flat rates ahead of time from your carrier or from your local post office. They're going to be able to tell you how much it costs to ship to different areas based on the weight and the measurements of your packages. And so we can use those shipping zones to have that information ahead of time and set everything up. But I think most importantly, like if you ship a lot of items and you've negotiated a lower or a discounted shipping rate, then you may want to get your shipping rate directly from the supplier. And so there's extensions that are available to do that. And similar to that with the checkout, if you have a specific payment processor that may not be one of the default ones like PayPal or Stripe, it's very likely that they're going to have a extension for that bank or that payment processor. And if it's not on this site specifically, I also recommend talking, and this goes for shipping too. If you don't see your payment carrier or your shipping carrier on the WooTheme store, an extension for them, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have one. If you contact them, ask them if they have an extension for WooThemes or for WooCommerce, because I've seen it sometimes where they have those extensions available, but they keep them, locked away in their members area or something like that. So we have a very intricate tax system, a very nice shipping system. We have multiple ways to check out. We have different account settings and emails that we can send out and manage. And all of that is done through WooCommerce out of the box, with the exception of, like I just mentioned, the specific payment or shipping carriers that you may need to get exact rates from or something like that. But the majority of people are going to be able to use those tax zones and shipping zones to set up everything they need for their store. WooCommerce also has a fantastic reporting system. Now there's no data in the store right now, but you can kind of see it's going to show you a lot of different graphs and give you a ton of information, and you can separate that from specific time frames or the last month or the last year or the last 7 days, and it's going to give you a lot of information about your customers and what products they're purchasing and what your net sales are and gross sales, and a lot of other information that's going to help your accounting departments or your accountant, and also your when you're doing your taxes, you're going to have all that information available to you in these great reports. So all of that is built in. They also have a coupon system, so if you're offering sales or discounts to certain customers or repeat customers, or if you're doing a promotion, it has a full coupon system built in that you can take advantage of. And the great thing about WooCommerce is, like I said, a lot of these features can be disabled. So if you're not necessarily going to be using them, they don't have to take up resources because you can disable them at any time. And the last thing I want to talk about is the kind of products that you can sell with WooCommerce, because not everybody is selling physical goods. So they do have a standard product for selling what they call a simple product. So if I'm selling a widget, you can create the widget product and you can sell that through the store, and it can have a shipping rate and it can have a tax rate, and you can sell the good. So I'll just go into products, which is how we manage our products, and I want to give you an idea of how this works. So similar to our blog entries or pages, this editor is going to seem fairly familiar. We put in a product name, some information about our products. On the right-hand side, we can put in product images and galleries, and I'll go through this in detail during the tutorial. And then we have some other information here. So we have pricing, sale pricing, what its tax status or class is, and then we have, do we want to track inventory on this product? What is the shipping information? And then you can see here a toggle. So we have simple product, group product, external, and variable. And then we have here checkboxes for virtual and downloadable. So there's a lot of different products that we can sell with WooCommerce. So a simple product would just be that. It would be a widget that you're selling, that you're going to be shipping a physical good. And even a simple product can also be virtual and downloadable. So a simple product could also be a PDF file or something that the user is going to download, or it could even be, say, a unit of time. If you're a consultant, you could sell a simple product that would be virtual. If you're selling a PDF or a downloadable file, you would also click downloadable, and you can see that opens up some additional options for us. So we can sell physical goods, or we can sell virtual or downloadable products all through WooCommerce with this simple product. We also have what's called a variable product, and this is in the situation where you would be selling, say, a t-shirt, and that if that t-shirt came in 3 sizes and 3 different colors, then we would use what's called a variable product. So instead of having to have 15 or 30 different products in your system, which is basically the same product, so it's one t-shirt but it comes in different sizes and different colors, then we don't want to have to go through the process of creating a product for each unique combination of our variables. We want to create a variable product, and that's going to allow us to assign attributes to a product such as size and color, and then create variable or variations of that product based on every combination that we have available. We can also track stock individually on variations. We can have different pricing or pricing options. So if extra large t-shirt costs a couple extra dollars, we can set all of that up as well, and I will walk you through that process. In addition to that, we have grouped products. Now what a grouped product is that if you had, it's kind of a clever way to sell multiple products together. This does not include selling those products as a group at a discount. That's actually an extension that is available from the WooCommerce store if that's something that you need. But this would be, it's kind of a way to display products. So if you had a hat, a t-shirt, and pants, and you thought that they would, look good together, then you would put them together as a grouped product. But really what it does is it takes 3 simple products or variable products or whatever it is, and it puts them in a group so they can be purchased together, but they are being purchased at full price. It's not a grouped product that has a discount. Like I said, that's a separate extension. So it gives us a way to kind of group products together on our front end in a way to sell multiple products. Which also brings up, if we go to linked products, you can see that for every product, whether it be simple or not, we can also do upsells and cross sells on our site. So the store will recommend upgrading to a better product, or if you're going to buy that t-shirt, it goes great with that pair of pants, and that's a cross sell. And we also have external or affiliate products. So if you're not selling your own products, if you're selling products through somebody else as an affiliate, we can create an affiliate or an external product. And what that's going to do is when they click that buy now button, they're going to be redirected to that external site using your affiliate link or your affiliate ID. So you can see there's a bunch of different ways that we can set up products, and this should cover the majority of people. And for those of you that are going to be creating a membership site where you're going to charge a one-time or a recurring fee monthly, say, for access to certain areas of your website, WooCommerce is also going to be the plugin that's going to power the commerce side of that. So taking the subscriptions and doing the recurring payments. And with the extension or the membership bundle, which is part of our, under your functionality list, if you've selected memberships, this is one of the options. If you're going to be charging people for memberships, we recommend going through the WooCommerce membership bundle. And I'll just show you that really quickly. And that's here, this Woo Members Bundle. So that includes the commercial extensions for taking recurring payments, for handling subscriptions, and also the actual functionality of membership. So providing access to people who have an active membership and blocking content from those people who don't have an active membership. So that's a separate section in your functionality list. That's under membership functionality. But if you have that enabled and you're going to be charging for that, then you're also going to be using WooCommerce for that, and that will add a new product type here for a subscription product or a product that has a recurring payment. So that's just a brief overview of WooCommerce. I'll go into a lot more detail in the tutorials, but I just wanted to kind of walk you through the functionality that it does have because we believe it is going to be the best option for just about everybody. I can't think of any real examples where WooCommerce wouldn't be able to fit all of your needs. There's 2 general complaints with WooCommerce, and neither of them are going to affect us. The first one has actually already been fixed, which is that these extensions, you can see that they're anywhere from $79 to $300, and if you needed a lot of different kind of add-on functionality, it could get very pricey. And previously, they did not offer the bundles that they offer now, which has kind of fixed that problem. So what they've done is they've put a lot of different kind of similar plugins or membership or whatever it is, and they've grouped them together, and they're selling them a lot cheaper than they would be if you purchased them individually. So the first problem WooCommerce or WooThemes has already taken care of for us. They've got a lot of the bundles for the plugins that would normally go together, so we don't have to pay for them individually. And the second complaint that you hear about WooCommerce if you're looking around the web is that it is a resource-heavy plugin. So it uses a lot of resources and it slows websites down, and these other complaints. However, for the most part, or I would almost say in all cases, you're hearing these complaints from people who are using shared or budget hosting. And it's actually, the problem isn't with WooCommerce, it's that their hosting can't handle a plugin like WooCommerce, so real functionality. So all the hosts that we've picked are all great hosts, and they can handle not only WooCommerce, but a slew of other plugins all running at once with a lot of visitors, and they're not even going to slow down a little bit. So neither of those things are going to affect us. The first one is fixed, and the second one is resolved by having a real host, which we do. So WooCommerce is really going to be the best choice for everybody out there if you want to be able to sell products, whether they be physical or digital or affiliate products, whether you need taxes and shipping or whether you don't. And if you're going to be doing a membership website that's going to be charging people for memberships, then you definitely want to be using this WooThemes bundle as well. So in your functionality list, if you've chosen membership, you're going to get the option between the WooThemes or WooCommerce bundle for membership if you're going to be charging. If you're not going to be charging, we have a different alternative for that, which is just going to handle blocking content from non-registered users, right? So that's the WooThemes overview or the WooCommerce overview. So go ahead and select WooCommerce for your e-commerce plugin, and we'll add all the tutorials to your queue for how to set up each individual section of WooCommerce and configuring your e-store.